Let's go to the next one. The post-spawn funk is probably one that, I have zeroed on more times than I care to admit. You really have to put your power fishing stuff down. You really do. These fish have gone through a spawning process. There may be a few males still garden fry, something of that nature. But dudes, I'm telling you, they are worn out. They are worn out. Eating is just not really on their minds. Recovery is more on their minds. They're chilling out. They really are. And the thing that gets me on a post-spawn fish is that you see a lot. Sometimes you see a lot. You see them floating up underneath docks and things like that, and they're just chilling. And it's like there's got to be something that you can throw in there at them. A key that I like is making really long casts. You don't want them to be aware of your presence. And by that, it's almost like you're kind of going into the hunt mode. If you're coming up on a dock, make dang sure that you stay way away from that dock. Make sure that your presentations is a very, very subtle presentation. Don't slide something in there and make big splashes. Try to stay away from big baits. This is when your floating worms, your wacky worms work very, very well. Normally just a Cinco style bait, either a very light nail weight, or if you fish one like the original Cinco itself, just no weight any whatsoever. Just let that bait just pulsate down. A lot of times those fish will just come out and just barely get it, and you never feel the bite, and you're sitting there going like, daggum, man, my line's way out here. Pay attention. Really and truly pay attention to where that bait lands, and when the first time that you pick up, make dang sure that your line is where it landed, because if that's not where that line is, if it's 6 or 8 inches off to the side there, or it could be 3 feet off to the side, a lot of times those fish just kind of come up and just suck it in and just ease on off, just like a trout would, on a fly. You see them, they don't explode on it. They just come up, they suck it in, and they just swim away with it. So watching your line on your wacky worms is very, very critical. I call it pop magic. This is the time of the year when I feel like your poppers will be very, very key. Your yellow magics, your regular old pop-Rs, baits that are very subtle, make just a very little commotion. It's not baits that have a lot of vibration, have a lot of flash, have a lot of bells and whistles. It's just a very, very subtle deal. It's just, again, it's almost like that fly fisherman. He wants to make that presentation very soft. He wants that bait to have a very natural look to it. And again, those fish, a lot of times, they don't come up and just explode. They'll just come up and just barely suck it up underneath there. Sometimes they'll just get your tail of the bait and just carry it off with them. Have to be very, very cognizant of that. Searching out for the brim beds. This is one of the big things. There's nothing that pesters a bass during the spawn more than a bunch of brim. But guess what? After the bass get through spawning, it's their time to go pester the brim. They will be around those brim beds every time. If I'm going out and I'm practicing for a tournament, there's a lot of times I just stay on my trolling motor. And it's not that I'm looking for bass beds, it's that I'm looking for brim beds. They're going to be on harder bottoms. They're going to be in places where they were last year, the year before, things of that nature. The other thing that I like to do, watch where the brim fishermen are. Because I tell you what'll end up happening, they'll come up in there and they'll roll in there with their crickets and they'll pick them off and pick them off and pick them off. And then they'll ease on off. You call it poaching if you want to, I don't care. But that is the greatest way to find a brim bed, is watching a brim fisherman. Ease in there behind them, let them get going, let everything settle down, and ease in there, right in there behind them. Throw your wacky worm, your popper right in there around those brim beds. There are some of the biggest bass that I've caught during tournament fishing this time of year have been off of brim beds. And it's like they will be spawned out, skinny as a rail, look like they should weigh 7 or 8 pounds, and they'll weigh 4. But that's you know, something that they will be around at all times. Another technique that really shines this time of year is a Carolina rig, the old ball and chain. And my favorite thing to do is just a little 4-inch French fry style bait. I have won more money on a stinking little old French fry than I have on any brush hog, a rage bug, anything that has a lot of motion, a lot of, you know, commotion, motion, whatever you want to call it, bulkiness. This is the time of year that I'm going to go and I'm going to throw that little bitty French fry. Green pumpkin works good. One of my most favorite colors in the whole world is just straight chartreuse pepper. Yeah, I heard that. They got a preacher in the back. Come on with it. Tell me about it. I mean, I don't know what's swimming around out there that looks chartreuse, but a Lake Fork little ring fry, little small one, I can't tell you how many big ones I've caught right after they get through spawning and can't get bit on anything else. Just back out, find the first little drop. It could be in 4 feet of water, it could be in 10 feet of water. But the old ball and chain, I mean, that is a deal. It really is. And can catch numbers. Not only can it catch numbers, it can also catch big ones as well. How about the dog days of summer? This is something I want to show you guys. I got a video up here. Ben's playing his videos. I want to show y'all my videos. And it's not about me. It's about this guy here. I want you to look. If you can look. This guy, it's summertime. It's July.
Tell us how you do it, yeah. Tell us how you do it.
Well,
I mean, show us how you do it.
pray for
You do that too. You don't reel them up to the rod tip like he just did. But notice that crankbait. Notice that crankbait that's in his mouth. I want y'all to notice it. As soon as I turn around, he's sweating like a...
But I mean, no. Tell him about that squirrel bill.
It's 3.5 lucky crap. We had a 4.0, 4.5.
And look at you. Uh-huh.
No, y'all look at this right here. When I was telling y'all about water temperature, 98.6. And we're catching them about this deep. And it's all about that oxygen level.